Audio. Hi, Marlo. There she is, right on time. Oh, she moved to Colorado or something.
Oh, it looks like Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks,
Oh, she's
Washington.
in Twin Peaks. Okay.
That's great.
We hear some weird
It's,
music, then we know that something strange is
Some
happening.
Angela bottle of mint tea.
Five of today.
All right, I guess we're all ready to go. Good evening, everybody. It is 7:31. My name is Neil B. Smith, and I'm the chair for Lawrence's Cultural Arts Commission, and this is the April 9th, Wednesday regular Cultural Arts Commission meeting at 7:30 in City Hall, and I will kick things off as I always do with a roll call, starting with Marlo.
Present.
And then Tim.
Present.
And then Alicia.
Present.
And then Monique. And then Kelly.
Present.
And then Matthew.
Present.
So Monique has not yet joined us. Thank you everyone else for being here. The first thing on our agenda to do is to approve the minutes from the March 12th, 2025 meeting. The one which was postponed due to snow.
Oops, sorry, that somehow got carried over. Oh, no, that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's right.
We were going to do it early and then it got postponed, so we did it at the normal
Snow
time.
seems like a foreign concept right
Yeah.
now, but that's what was happening, you're right.
So I will entertain a motion to approve if anyone has had a chance. And if you've read the minutes and you think they're all wrong, feel free to voice that now. If you think they're beautiful, say so. But as always, looking for a motion.
This is Tim. I'll move approval.
Thank you, Tim,
And I will second.
and thank you, Kelly, for seconding. And we will do another roll call vote to approve them, starting with Marlo,
Approve.
and then Tim,
Approve.
and then Alicia,
Approve.
and then Kelly,
Approve.
and then Matthew.
Approve.
I shall also approve passing the March 12th, 2025 meeting minutes unanimously, taking us into our agenda items.
Oops.
So this is the one that is
Daniel,
left on here.
This
Yeah.
is not on use the regular agenda.
Okay, yeah.
I goofed and I didn't copy this over properly, so scratch what you.
For everyone who doesn't know, my agenda is slightly different.
Yeah,
than
actually, it
normal.
is correct after that, so you can go by that.
So moving on to the correct first item on the agenda, it is reviewing the mini grant application individual scores and selecting our 2025 mini grant awardees. This shouldn't be a surprise to anyone because we all looked through so many mini grant applications and they're all so good, and this is one of those painful things we have to do. So hopefully you all have our little beautiful color-coded rubric in front of you. See, Porter has brought it up. And to kick things off, I will just mention that due to some of the number moving we did with the community arts grants, instead of having 5 mini grants this year, we are going to have 6.
Correct.
So that is what we got to do. And they're all the same rate. And it does look like, obviously, the blues are standout positives and the reds are standout negatives amongst the different scores. And so the folks with the most blues are at the top. So I'm curious if anybody has any points of discussion. I don't think the individual scorers are labeled as far as who is who. You might be able to figure out which one is yourself if you remember your rating.
Vaguely.
So I'm curious if any of those folks who kind of have some red numbers at the top, or any folks who have kind of blue numbers that have sunk towards the bottom, might want to make a case for or against a mini grant application that they felt they have a different opinion than everyone else.
This is Tim. It looks pretty clear. I mean, I think the preferences are pretty clear.
If we're doing 6, it looks like that 6th spot is pretty close and possibly reversed. I don't know.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the top 5.
I don't know how that happened. That's weird. Huh.
Oh, you mean that the 7th score there is numerically close, but has less standout? It's just more of a consistent score across the board, potentially? Because it looks like, Bo Harris has a 270, whereas Lana Haas is a 271.
271.
But yeah, they seem like they're inverted. Although it does look like Bo's looks more positive because there's currently more blue little squares. That's interesting. I mean, it could have to do with outliers. You know, the 38 on Bose is pretty low, and the 70 on Lana's is pretty high. So that might sort of,
It's skewing them.
yeah. Whereas the system might be automatically trying to weight the one that has the more blue ratings higher, despite the fact that it has a lower actual number.
Well, I think Bo Harris has a higher kind of across the board
No, it's not working.
average
guys. I don't
number
know.
of scores. I
Yeah.
think that's kind of why, I look at having to sit there.
I will say for myself that watching the demo reel that Bo included with their application was really the thing that made my score was good, and then I watched the demo reel and I kicked up a few points. I thought it was pretty impressive stuff.
I did like those too because there was community impact. So not just talking about doing video, but doing it with bands and collaboration. So I thought it had a nice ecosystem development angle to it that wasn't always present in some of the other applications.
Yeah, Marlo, I agree. I do feel like I tended to rate applications higher if it felt like it had more of a community emphasis, sort of like compounding the potential impacts by talking about how they might work with other folks.
Sort of along those lines, too, one of the things I think I prioritized is people that were specifically looking for grants, not just for their own work, but potentially to teach, which is why I was happy to see that the 3D printer that was going to be used for, teaching courses, things around the region, I thought was good. That's also why I think I might have rated a little higher than other people, the wood carving, which is just kind of sitting right outside the top 5 or 6. But, again, like anything else, it was very hard to decide. But just kind of along the, just kind of a pay it forward kind of thing, too, if you're helping newer artists just learn techniques and things like that.
So taking into account the sort of interesting situation with the 6th and the 7th place, so Tim, you had initially said that it's a pretty clear cutoff, and I think it is a clear cutoff for the top 5.
The top 5.
and then, but maybe that 6th and 7th is not quite as clear, because I initially, seeing those 3 blue numbers on Bo's rating, I initially assumed that would be a standout, but yeah, they are in fact one below.
I ranked Lana at a 70 because, she's actioning what she's doing. And, she's kind of involving, groups of folks in her work. But I just, kind of one of the points for me as I ranked these was it more, was it something they were actually doing on the spot, or were they ascribing to do it? And so I ranked her high because she's invested a lot of time, money, and effort in her projects, and kind of sends them out to the world. So that's why I am the outlier there. But
I feel like that certainly gives your opinion on the who that last mini grant goes to. I feel like that gives your opinion a lot of extra weight since you are the standout positive for Lana. Or Lana. I certainly did personally, DLB Smith, I certainly did factor in personal investment and kind of some sunk cost into how I was rating some of these. I feel like there's some individuals here who are asking for a mini grant now, and through their application, it's very clear that A, they're willing to match or contribute even more towards achieving what the mini grant is hoping to sponsor, and then also talking about potentially years of them investing on their own up to this point. I think if somebody's interested in doing a project, but is waiting for a mini grant in order to kick that off, I mean, that's great. And it's great that these mini grants can allow for that. But if there's somebody who's been investing their own money for years and years and is now just looking for a little bit of a leg up after all of that personal investment, to me, I saw that as meriting a little bit more consideration. I will point out, as far as standout scores, I don't think that, I'm not gonna argue that this individual should be magically elevated up into the top 6, but I am the standout score for the application that was related to drag performance. And for me, I'm not super involved in the drag community in Lawrence, but we do have a really strong drag community, and I feel like I wanted to at least try and emphasize that I feel like our drag community is something special, and that kind of like the music community we've always had, which people can sometimes take for granted. I feel like our drag community is so strong, and there are a lot of folks that put a lot of work into it, and it's not guaranteed to exist forever, and I feel like it is something that we need to think about investing. If something special crops up, I feel like it's important to try and make sure that we're ensuring that continues to exist. But I don't think it's that one's going to skip up 10 rankings. So
I appreciate you saying that, because I'm the other standout.
oh, you're the other blue on the drag one.
And
Yeah.
makeup, and I've attended a couple, and there's a lot of it's a whole performance, and they put a lot of work into it, and some of these performances are weekly, and
Oh, yeah.
work that comes into it, and I think of
The
makeup, and it's
the sheer
incredible.
amount of drag that happens in this community every week is
It's amazing. It's
pretty astounding, and it wasn't like that 10 years ago, I don't think.
It's always unfortunate we can't give everybody something.
Yep.
But I would say that going through these and seeing the response, I'm really pleased that people feel empowered to apply, and I hope they will continue to do so. I just want to state this on the record, so to speak, that, I'm really glad to see this response. And unfortunately, we can't fund everybody, but keep it coming.
I really like, too, that you just kind of had a broad array of media, too, wood carving and bookbinding and music and performing arts, and I mean, just stuff that I wouldn't even have expected. And it was neat to get like a little representative sample and see kind of things that people are doing.
For sure. Well, I think we can start with the easy decision, which is, I think we can all potentially agree that the top 5 are our top 5.
I think that's fair.
Marlo, is that agreeable with you? Okay, she's in.
I'm fine with it too. I mean, I guess coming down to that 6th one, I still, even though I didn't vote highly for it, I just think that when you kind of look across there between Bo and Lana, a very large majority of the voting folks scored that high. I mean, I just think it's hard to ignore
Sure.
that. I mean, that's three of the 5 voters scored it high. And, somebody scores it really low. Just like on Lana, 4 scored lower than Bo. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how you ignore that. I feel like it's the way the numbers.
That is true, and also I guess it is worth mentioning that the relative ratings, we didn't go into this process with like sort of any sort of normalization as far as what is considered like the upper limit. Like I don't know what the highest score I gave was. Maybe I gave a 64. So just thinking about the fact that maybe some people had an overall lower scoring threshold than.
Yeah, I thought I went too far one way the last time we did this, and I think I went too far the other way this time. Like last time, all my scores were high, and this time I've got a lot of low scores. And
Yeah.
so I can see that playing into it.
Dina B. Smith, well, it sounds like, Tim, what you're alluding to is that you feel like Bo Harris should be the 6th.
Yeah, I mean, I think the preponderance of us felt that it ranked high. Even though I didn't, I think that we did as a collective, and I just don't see how you make a case for somebody who didn't get that many high votes.
All right. Well, what it sounds like is that you're you're proposing that we go ahead and make the difficult decision of doing just the top 6 as listed here, with Bo Harris being the 6th, and go forward with those as our 6 mini grant recipients.
I am.
I agree with that. Out of that, I was the lowest. But looking over the whole, what the scores all through, I agree with you, Tim, so.
All right, so is that a motion and a second, or?
I will make
let's
that
clarify.
motion.
Okay, thank you, Tim,
second it.
and thank you, Alicia, for seconding. All right, of course, if anybody objects, there will be time to do so, but we will go ahead and start with the roll call vote. See how that goes, starting with Marlo,
Great.
and then Tim,
Approve.
and then Alicia,
Approve.
and then Kelly,
Approve?
and then Matthew.
Approved.
And then I will also approve unanimously, recommending to the City Commission that these top 6 folks, as listed here on our beautiful little rubric, are our 6 mini grant recipients.
Who moved? Did you move?
Tim moved and
I
Alicia
have it
Alicia
reversed, that's what I
seconded.
thought. Okay, so TM.
It's okay. It kind of ping ponged back and forth a little bit.
Sometimes I don't catch that. Okay, good. Thank you.
All right, we are done with the hard part, and we're on to the harder part, which is discussing the outdoor public art proposals and our individual selections for the 2025 artists and their projects. So obviously, we now have a different rubric with different colors in front of us, and we all have paper copies, and Marlo can see the one that Porter's put up. And for this,
I know. Give me a chance. Gosh, trying to keep up, Kurt.
I mean, it's fair. It's fair because I had incorrectly claimed that Marlo could see it, so that was Kurt was correcting
All right, let me
my
offer
my
some
statement.
explanations. So I asked you all to rank these 1 through 5, 1 being the highest and 5 being the lowest. I realized once I got them back that was really dumb, so I flipped your scores. If that makes sense, because I put them in as like, oh, this is kind of like golf. You want the lowest score, but that's hard to interpret. So I just took and put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 next to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 3 was the only one that remained constant. I'm no mathematician, but I think that's okay. But everything else flipped. So 5s were your highest picks, even though it's opposite what you thought. So this is actually ranked highest to lowest.
Okay.
And we have, based on budget, up to 9 slots that we can offer. So, and again, really happy to see such a variety of stuff. Trying to break away from the mold of just sculpture. Not that sculpture is bad in any way, shape, or form, but from a professional development and portfolio perspective, I like to see artists, doing other things and potentially gaining experience that could help them win competitions in other places as well. So,
Great, thank you for that explanation, Porter. And I will also ask / point out that it looks like Alicia, as somebody who has a piece up for to be rated, did not submit any ratings. So
right.
removes.
Alicia didn't score anything, which was I think a wise move.
Yeah.
And
removes that whole discussion.
right. So she's
So.
recognizing. And I imagine she's going to stay silent throughout this whole process. Very, very high integrity.
So Porter, I have a quick question. If we look at the whole list that actually received a score, so ignoring everything with a 0, right?
Right.
Are there pieces in there, because I don't remember them all, I'm sorry. Are there pieces in there that are doubles, like more than one from the same artist?
Yes. So what you're seeing.
I wanna make sure-
Yeah. You
yeah.
know what? You're right. It broke it up. Didn't it?
I can't figure that out.
Oh,
so.
I'm sorry. I forgot that would.
Yeah.
Hang on. I can.
I'm trying to remember which ones are which, because I believe.
That gets goofy too, because some of you guys scored individual pieces and some of you scored,
The artist.
if you liked a piece, you scored all 3 artists. Or all 3 pieces. I didn't calculate that. I didn't want
Yeah.
to throw the scoring off, but it gets a little confusing. So yeah, this is just sort of a guide.
Okay.
And we can look up specifics if you need to.
I believe Lost Signals is also Nathaniel Pierce. I think And I'm pretty sure Clutie Figure is also V. Skip Willits.
Hang on, I can tell you.
No, I wouldn't look.
What I'm driving at here is that, rather than selecting two pieces from one artist, I'd almost rather go down to a lower voting, a lower scored piece to include more diversity.
D.L.B. Smith, yeah, I would not argue against that, especially because, I mean, thinking about the artists themselves and their interest in being included in the exhibition, I wonder if, I know that a lot of the artists who've had sculptures and art in this exhibition in the past also display in other communities, and there is some benefit to them to have their works in a variety of locations and a variety of communities. And so if we had three sculptures from one artist smack in our community, it kind of forces them to, to centralize all that instead of, going on to then submit some of their other pieces to other opportunities in their communities. So I think that obviously Alicia is the working artist among us, but she can't say anything. But I think that from past experience, I'm pretty sure that stands out to me as an upside of trying to diversify the artists involved, as opposed to trying to just, potentially have duplicate of the same artist involved.
So Jacob Bermud submitted continuity and cloud column. So let me.
Okay, so he didn't get a vote on cloud
Oh, I
column.
can't do it in here. I can't color code. So there was nothing on cloud column but continuity.
So he's okay.
And then Kristen Garnett had coleoptile,
Uh-huh.
Scions B, which I think was the most popular one, if I remember correctly, and Bel Canto.
Okay.
So she only has one in this mix, is that right? No,
she's
also
got two.
Now I
she
gotta
has
look at
two.
'em again.
Okay. And then, let's see, who else had more than one? Nathaniel Pierce had 3 pieces, Mother, Lost Signals, and Anywhere.
Okay, so only one.
So, yeah, and then who was Clutie Figure? That was
Clutie was
Skip Willits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So he's got Memory up here, which scored very high.
and Scions Bees.
And then Clutie Figure was his as well, and then Floating Pods.
Okay.
Floating
Which
Pods.
died.
Okay, so that didn't make it. Otherwise, everybody else only submitted one piece.
Or only had, oh, okay, yeah. So the only, just to kind of clarify, so the only artists who submitted multiple pieces and had multiple pieces that ranked in the top 9, then I guess it would actually be V. Skip Willits and also, no, not also Kristen Garnett. So I think it would just be V. Skip Willits who had a duplicate in the top 9. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the top 9, yes.
My scores might not be on there. I'm looking at the initials. Oh, I have the top of my head what I scored, but I don't see my initials on the columns.
That's a good question.
No, I know you did, and I'm sorry, I don't know what I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Huh. Sometimes I grab the wrong file. Let's see.
Yeah, because the numbers on there all add up, so I'm assuming they just didn't get
Marlo,
counted on this.
Marlo, would you be willing to pull up your your little scoring rubric, and then you could just let us know what they are, and we can see if those would impact the ranking dramatically? I can't help but imagine the Twin Peaks theme song. Looking at Marlo pull up her scoring rubric.
Can I borrow your pen? Thank you. Okay.
I'm secretly hoping Marlo's scores are going to match up with mine because looking at the rubric, I feel like everyone else is kind of clustered together, and then I've got these weird selections down on the side.
Put mine in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Not seeing it.
Conversely, she could share it from her Twin Peaks office.
You know what? I think if you guys can give me a minute, I can probably get them inserted here. I don't know what I did. I'm baffled, but
We all are.
yeah.
So continuity, I never saw. I didn't get a picture of it. I have no idea what it is. So I had no score for it.
The Jacob Bermude ones.
Yeah.
Is what you're talking about. I feel like I do recall his being a little bit harder to find than the other ones.
I'll just say.
Yeah, you can
I
speak to
couldn't-
your whether or
I
not.
couldn't find that picture either.
Okay.
I think I specifically emailed about that, like, am I missing one?
Yeah.
I had looked in his website for, like, maybe it was a work on there, but I didn't know
I
if
can't
it-
remember. Yeah,
I'll just say that.
something like that.
Yeah, I do remember going to the website to find
Okay.
the piece.
Oops, what happened? And let's see.
Kurt, are you going to be able to edit this out before you? I know. I'm just kidding. I know this is all live. Add the Twin Peaks music. Is there a special occasion for your Twin Peaks background, Marlo, or are you just generally a fan?
It's been a weird mood today, so I have to say my reality is feeling like a Twin Peaks reality.
Okay, so I think I can do this. I'm going to do it this way. So it actually works out. So Marlo, you had a 3, and you remember I told you I reversed your scores to score correctly. So you had a 3 for that one.
For memory, you mean?
For memory, you had 4 for this one. Sorry, my
Oh, yeah.
mouse skills are limited here. You had a 5 for here.
Wow.
And then it goes down to Nathaniel Pierce Mother.
Oh, yeah.
You had
Maybe a 2?
1.
Oh, okay.
And for ingratitude, you had a 2. So that's easiest to do it there.
Alright.
But I did update my sheet here, so thank you. I'm sorry, I don't know how I goofed on that. I thought I did it.
So that does look like it would probably move ingratitude up kind of significantly.
It looks like it moves it into the top 9 if we're not
Yeah.
duplicating anyone.
So,
Yep.
yeah, that would go up to being a 3 total. So yeah, and then yeah, Matthew, if we remove the duplicate V skip Willets, then suddenly ingratitude would be our new 9th with our attempt to not duplicate artists.
Yeah, because if you do select 2 pieces, then that artist would receive 2 commissions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely in favor of just, making sure that we're not duplicating and then just go right down the list.
I think that kind of influenced the way I scored things in the first place too, is I wanted to make sure that I wasn't giving one person more than one score for the same reason.
Sure. Danby Smith, yeah, I definitely did. When there was an artist who had multiple pieces, I thought that their pieces in general were things that I wanted to rank highly. I chose the one that I liked the best to assign the number 2. Otherwise, I might have given one person, multiple, a whole bunch of numbers. So I'm also, I think it would be fine to go ahead and do top 9, excluding the duplicate V. Skip Willets, and then moving up Tate Owens in gratitude with the inclusion of Marlowe's penciled in score to be our 9th place, our final.
So help
Inclusion.
me out on the thing so I can mark it. So you're saying this one would be
Yeah,
in?
Danby Smith, unless I'm misunderstanding what people are kind of like getting at, I think it would essentially be the top 9 that we have there, and just skipping the second V. Skip Willets.
All right,
Is that
so
Simon's B? Which one was
The second one would be, the first one V. Skip Willets has is the very top one,
Right.
memory. So then the second one that would be skipped would be Clutie figure.
all right, now wait a minute. Scion's B is actually Kristen Garnett.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's the only Kristen Garnett one in the top 9 though.
Yes,
So we would,
So then that stays.
so that would stay. So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Kai Reed,
it'd be our 6.
6, Jacob and continuity.
And then, yeah, Nathaniel Pierce would be. And then the next one below that is the one that we would skip, because Clutie figure is
this one.
that is V. Skip Willets'
Gotcha.
second high ranking. If V. Skip Willets watches this, I mean, take pride in the fact that you
you have to go to Tate Owens.
Yeah, Tate Owens jumped because
Yeah.
of the.
Because of the change.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay.
It looks good to me.
I'm happy to make a motion if everybody's happy.
Folks are. I often ask for motions, but folks are always have the option to just make a motion out of the blue. So it sounds like you made a motion to go with
Yep.
go with the 9 that Porter has indicated with his little dash marks.
That is correct.
All right, that's a good motion. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Thank you, Kelly. We will now do a roll call vote, starting with Marlo,
Agreed.
and then Tim,
Approve.
and then Alicia.
Approve.
Or sorry,
Oh, can I? No.
No.
you should probably abstain.
Yeah.
I accidentally said your
This is
name.
new for me. So I approve. Okay.
and then Kelly, and then Matthew.
Approve.
And I will also approve, meaning that with the exception of Alicia's abstention, we will pass unanimously these specific 9 individuals for the outdoor public art exhibition, as indicated by the little tally marks on the screen that Porter put up there. So the top 8 as listed from the top, and then Tate Owens in gratitude, moving up with the inclusion of Marlowe's penciled in score.
Very good. Thank you all.
Great. Danby Smith, before we move on, Porter, and I mean, I could ask you this later, but would you mind after this meeting, and it can be tomorrow, I know you're busy, would you mind collecting all the images of all those 9 sculptures and sending them out? Because I know that some folks, it's maybe been a while since they reviewed them, and it would just be a nice kind of refresher. It's not actually important, but it'll be fun.
Send the link.
Just could you just compile the 9 images of the 9
Oh, the 9. Yes, I will.
and
do
send
that
them over?
together with
Okay,
the
great.
presentation So you can actually see what you. Okay, I got you. Yep.
Great, thank you. All right, then we have one more agenda item, which is finalizing our April 27th retreat agenda. This meeting was originally going to be like a footnote, and then we realized we had to review a bunch of stuff. But we do also have a agenda or a retreat, which we are planning to do this month on the 27th.
What time?
Usually, I'm trying to remember. I had a scribble note. 1 to 4, I think is.
I put it on my phone, but
I
no.
think 1 to 4 or 12 to 3 is. I guess we can review
I believe
review
it's
the
1 to
minutes.
4.
1 to 4 sounds right.
Yeah, I
I
think
think I
that's
remember that.
3 hours.
Okay.
So we have a handful of things on here, which are potential agenda items. So we can go down the list and see if people agree with those, and if people have any other items they'd like to add. I'll just list them off for the sake of being official about stuff. Brainstorming session for 2026. Looking forward to next year. Reviewing current programs and budget. A mission update in correlation with strategic plan and master plan, and then determining a new name for the ODSE/Annual Temporary Outdoor Public Art Exhibition Program, the thing that we just reviewed the application for. Coming up with a snappy name. Maybe it has a cool acronym. I like acronyms. I'm curious if anybody has anything else they want to add on to that.
Feels like we kind of get everything under the brainstorming, conversation.
I wanted to double check, Porter. Was there any other old pieces of documentation that were, dissolved with the old board that we needed to reaffirm? I'm pretty sure the mission was one, and
Yeah, the only existing
and this.
policy that rolled over is the public art resolution. So let me just double check that, but that's a good question.
This would be another opportune moment to cut in the Twin Peaks music, Kurt, if you can hook that up for us. We could just have a soundboard for our meetings. There's got to at least be one city board that has sound effects or something. I'm trying to think what board would be most likely to have sound effects. I feel like it's us, honestly.
It is yours, and it's especially on the next agenda item when you introduce Miscellany.
Oh, yeah. I see Porter scrolling, but I think.
I can never find, there's a web page that shows each board and commission
The only other thing that
separately that calls out everything that was relative to that, but I can never remember where that link is, so bear with me here.
I couldn't remember if we needed to discuss the mural procedures anymore, or if we had put a stamp on that.
That had been revised in 2016.
Yeah, I think
I got
we-
it. We've tweaked it a little bit along the way to make sure that it was working.
Yeah.
And I think, unless you all have different experience, I think for all the mural proposals we've had thus far, it
Yeah.
seems like it's working.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Well, I will trust the past version of us that was okay with it. And if you come up with anything else, as far as like official things we need to approve, feel free to email us between now and April 27th.
And if you
but
think of something,
Yeah.
send it over. It's not like, this is not a taking action meeting. You're not going to be voting on anything. This is an educational meeting and brainstorming for next year. So
I know.
we can add stuff to the agenda. Obviously, once I post the agenda, then we're set. But, and I think to Tim's point, the brainstorming piece sort of allows you, if something comes up during the meeting, you can even talk about that. So.
Yeah,
These are
I agree
the
with
key
that.
things, and I also was cognizant of 3 hours is not a ton of time,
Yeah.
frankly, so.
Dan B. Smith, I know that in some of the past retreats we've had special guests essentially. I don't know if there's anybody that you would consider inviting to pop by and say hi, say a few words. But
Who's hot in the art scene now?
well, it seems like everyone is pretty good with this list of agenda items for April 27th retreat. So we don't have to take any action, but that's what we'll move forward with.
Okay.
It says finalize, but yeah, if you think of anything, feel free to reach out to to Porter and let him know. If 5 minutes after this meeting something hits you and you're like, oh no. So that.
No, that's true.
So that will bring us to the end of our actual agenda items and right into the miscellany section where we discuss maybe cool stuff that we have seen or participated in the community over the past month or however long it's been since we met, or anything that's coming up between now and our next meeting that you want to plug. So plug away.
I'm going to plug away.
Yes.
I'll go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say this Saturday is the art auction at the Art Center. Over 170 works of art are up for bid. If you've never been to the art auction, it's a really wonderful time. There's silent auction items that you can just bid online, and then there's live auction items that is very exciting to see them find their new homes at the end of the night. But that's Saturday night, April 12th, 6 o'clock.
Yay. I love the art auction. Friday night, this Friday night at Landmark National Bank at Gallery 4621 is the Art Guild all-member show. And I was telling the group before we all got live that it's probably the best one I've seen. So 5 to 7, there will be snacks and all sorts of stuff, but I would encourage folks to stop by. It'll be a great show.
Marla, I have a question. If you go online for the art auction, can I see all the pieces? Because I'm leaving tomorrow for Chicago, so I'd love to see them.
Yes, they're in the galleries, 3 galleries full, but you can also just look online, lawrenceartcenter.org. There's a little live auction or art auction tab. Just click on that and you can view on the pieces. You can do silent bidding.
Okay.
We have proxy bidding, so if someone can't go to the live auction and there's a piece that you really want, you can email us and we can be your proxy.
Okay, great.
But it's an amazing thing, and it like powers our exhibitions program for the entire year. So all our galleries are always free, and it's really based off this one night.
Okay.
So it's a wonderful year to support the arts.
Great.
All this wild stuff happening nationally, and reductions at the state level. It's more important now than ever.
Yeah.
I'll say that in addition to being on this board, I'm also on the board for the Sexual Trauma and Abuse Care Center, and they do a lot of stuff in the community and some fundraisers or whatever. But for the first time, they're doing a little art exhibit over at the Cat Cafe. It's the final Friday of the month, so the Cat Cafe usually often participates in Final Friday, but I'll be over there representing that agency, and if anyone wants to pop by and say, hey, there should be some cool stuff. I also I literally can't remember if I said this during the last meeting, the production of Chicken and a Biscuit at Theater Lawrence. Maybe I said this last time, but it was incredible. If I didn't say it last time, I might have said that I was going to it and I was hoping it was going to be incredible, but it was incredible. It was great. I'm really glad that I went. So, is there any other miscellany? Hearing none, I will request a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And a second?
Second?
All right, and we will vote to adjourn, starting with Marlo.
Approved.
And then Tim.
Approve.
And then Alicia.
Approve.
And then Kelly.
Approved?
And then Matthew.
Approved.
And I shall also approve unanimously adjourning this meeting of the Lawrence's Cultural Arts Commission. Thank you all for volunteering your time and being here and doing all the ratings and all the stuff. Thank you, Porter. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you for all of our fans on YouTube who are getting in the comment section and telling us how great of a job we did or whatever. I'll see y'all the 27th, and we are going to be here. No, we're going to be at the
We're going to be at the rec,
Be at the
Parks and
rec.
rec offices.
Okay.
over in South Park.
Okay.
All right, cool. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Hi, Marlo.